with us. I could start over, but you know what? I'm just going to roll with it.
It feels like.
Yeah. So hello and welcome to the Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff and I'm the owner of the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas. And
I'm Becky, store manager at the Modern Skein.
So welcome. Why don't you scoot in just a wee bit? I think it's right on the edge. There we go. So hopefully you had a wonderful week, 2 weeks, whenever it was we last podcast. I do know that this is going to be episode 82.
Hey.
I do know that. I know we're kind of getting close to 100 episodes, which is kind of mind-boggling. I've been doing it this long. Okay, so this is normally where we do finished objects. We don't have a finished object. Oh, we do have the new store sample, though.
I'm on it.
Okay, so while we didn't actually finish mine just went totally blank. While we didn't finish any sort of knitting project, we probably should, but we didn't.
I did bring over an FO.
Yes, you did. Okay, so we have two things to show you. Yay. First off, one of our fabulous customers, Amber, I think you watch, you finished this beautiful, it's huge, shawl out of red stake fiber antique linen. And this is called Knit Below Shawl. I was like, I don't remember it. Knit Below Shawl by Industrial Whimsy. It is available on Ravelry. And it may be also available on her own personal website. I'm not 100% sure. But it's called the Knit Below Shawl. And it's this really pretty kind of exaggerated triangle shape. And you have little tassel bits at the end. Just like that. Amber said the stitch was really, it was an easy one. You do basically, like the pattern says, you knit below. To give you this really pretty texture. Give me a close up of the texture. It's almost, it kind of reminds me sort of a honeycomb. It's not the same at all, but that kind of reminds me of the 3D texture.
Similar, yeah. Look of it.
And then a nice big yarn over spine down the middle. This takes 3 skeins of DK weight, basically, and you do use up pretty much the entire 3 skeins. There's really not much left over. So she went ahead and, once she was into her last skein, she went ahead and made the tassels to make sure she had enough. And I think she said she bound off maybe 1 row early.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that she didn't end up having to rip it out and play yarn chicken. But this is a super cozy, like I said, DK weight. She said she would call it pretty much a adventurous beginner type knit because it's just knitting and purling. You're just knitting down and below your stitch. So definitely. I would recommend that you stick with more of a tonal yarn so that you see your texture. Not anything that's too heavily speckled. Not saying you couldn't do a light speckle or a slightly variegated yarn, but it will show up best in a tonal yarn. So that's one finished object, just not by us. So thank you, Amber.
Forgot about this one.
Yes, me too.
So this is a little Poofy Hat.
It's so cute.
And I don't have a pattern name for it.
Because
I haven't written it yet.
She wrote the pattern. How cool is that? So technically, you too can knit this hat if you're between the age of 8 and 18 and come to the kids camp class, which is like tomorrow. So it will have already happened.
Tomorrow is full.
But tomorrow
next
is full.
Week.
That's true. So by
open.
the time this comes up, just check our calendar. I want to say it's like the 22nd, something like that.
It's next Thursday.
Yes. So not this week, but next week. Not that that really helps you out, especially if you're watching this several weeks from now. But So this is what we are teaching. I say what we are teaching. No, what Becky is teaching in our kids camp class. So we're doing 2 before school starts, which is going to be super fun for all the kiddos registered. And they're going to end up with this super fun and chunky fun hat. So hopefully we have another super cold snap like we did
Right.
last year or this year, but without the power outages.
That's the key.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it being cold, even though I prefer the heat. As long as I have a fireplace and power, I'm happy.
Got some knits.
Yeah,
Hot cup of tea.
exactly. If it's too much longer, I'll do hot cocoa. I mean, because I drink enough coffee anyway. So, anywho,
Yeah.
anything you want to add to that? It's a super fun pom-pom.
It's a super fun pom-pom. I used the scraps of everything that was left. This is a single skein of loopy mango.
Yes. So,
Just big, poofy, happy yarn.
most, I would say, especially on the loopy mango, since we are, I hate to say this because we're in July, but now's the time to start thinking about Christmas gifts if you don't want to be in a massive panic come December 1st. Honestly.
Yeah. I did that last year. It's not fun.
No, it's never fun. So I would definitely recommend hats and cowls are very easy. And with the loopy mango, 1 skein will get you a nice big hat and pom-pom, or you can grab one of our fun faux fur pom-poms and knock out a Christmas gift. It's quick, it's easy. You can knit or crochet. We have patterns, basic patterns for both if you purchase the yarn and you want a free hat or cowl pattern in either knit or crochet. We do have that. Excuse me. And we can hook you up. Okay, so over the weekend I did not get a ton of knitting done because it was my birthday week and my friend was in town and we basically ate till we could not eat anymore, and then we still kept eating because that's just, we're like foodies at heart and we just love all the food. It's funny, one time I went, so she lives in like the Missouri area, and a couple years ago I flew up to visit her and do a girls' weekend, and at the time her then 8-year-old son was very, very sad, like the morning I was flying in, and she asked him, "What's the matter?" She said, "I don't know what we're going to do. You and Mrs. Graff are going to eat everything in the fridge, and we won't have any food." So, yeah. We have a reputation of eating a lot of things, apparently. But it was a really good weekend. But, that being said, I did have progress made on my winter's beach. It's just hard to see. So, this is my winter's beach as of right now.
So good.
I have finished the right side, I think it is, and back to its final positions, and I've just got another, I think about 20 rows left of this side, and then I can do my 3-needle bind off for the shoulders, and then pick up for the sleeves, and then do the afterthought pockets, and then it's done. So it's getting very, very close. Just been loving this. And apparently my cat Duncan also thinks that Hedgehog Tweety is the only yarn that is worthy of him trying to attack, because he never attacks my yarn except for this. And he doesn't just like paw at the string, he full on like body slams it and like grabs onto it and tries to kick it with his back paws like it's a wild animal or something. I mean, it in his defense, it does smell kind of sheepy, so he probably thinks it's a weird animal. So anywho, that's what I've made progress on. What about you?
Well, I'm gonna go for this one. I have made like no progress on my winter speech.
Well, since we podcasted, actually you have.
Yes, this is true.
Because you only had, I think, ribbing done
Yeah, okay, I think, yeah.
on the last one.
Oh, I'm a few inches into it. Definitely learning that the cables are showing up real well. The moss stitch is a little bit MIA on the noir colorway, but
the cables are
cables are popping well, and the colors of the little flecks of recycled yarn in there are real happy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look just even back here, you can see a lot more of the flecks of color than you do on here. You really only see the flecks on the white when you get up close. But yeah, you do see the moss stitch more prevalently on this, whereas you have to get closer on that.
Yeah.
It's just some differences, but honestly, I think both look amazing. You just get a little bit different look. And so really, if you like legitimately hate moss stitch, get the noir and then just skip it. Just do like garter stitch or
you could easily swap it in for something.
Yeah. Totally. So the only other thing that I actually did something on this since we last podcast was my Seriously Holy wrap. I actually did get a couple rows done on it, even though it doesn't really look like it. I was teaching a brioche class here at the shop and got in maybe like 4 rows. So it has a little tiny bit of progress, but the Winter's Beach for me is kind of an addictive knit. And so when I am knitting at home, it's usually on it. But that looks really cool.
And on my part, this has been my addictive knitting. I'm test knitting again. This is the beginnings of the Snow Frost socks by the Petite Knitter. I am knitting it out of Biche and Bouche, which is surprising me as I go of how much I think I'm going to love this as a sock yarn, even though it's not a typical sock yarn. But it's going to be so warm and cozy once they're on my feet.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Biche and Bouche isn't a typical sock yarn, I'll say that, but it is definitely usable as a sock yarn because it's a more rustic yarn, so it is going to over time kind of felt together. You're going to end up felting the wearing areas of your sock, so your heels, your toes, that sort of area that's going to get the most wear and tear is going to end up felting, and so actually it's going to be a little bit stronger over time compared to a traditional superwash nylon yarn. And that being said, it's also going to be very easy to darn those socks or needle felt a patch into the heel or something like that if you felt like you needed extra reinforcement, instead of like on a traditional superwash sock. So plus it just shows the crispness of the color work so well.
Yeah, color work is my knitting addiction.
And see, I think for me, I do love good color work. I do. But I think for me, it's cables. I really do. Yeah. If I had to pick one, it would probably be cables.
And I'm looking forward to, you can see the bright pop of contrast yarn. I get to do my first afterthought heel.
That's always fun. Yes. So... we don't have a lot to talk about this episode.
No.
But that's okay. Not everyone has to be super, super long. And I know the last one was kind of ridiculously long. So this one will be a little bit shorter. So for all of you guys that prefer a shorter podcast, this one's going to be for you. As long as I don't keep rambling on for the next 15, 20 minutes, which I don't think I will. I am still working on my Maritimo. I say I am. It's not in timeout. It just hasn't had any work done on it. So once I finish Winter's Beach, then I'm going to go back and work on Maritimo and my Seriously Holy wrap and get both of those hopefully knocked out. My goal is before Yarn Trail. that maybe pushing it, but that's a goal. You know, you got to stretch yourself to get a goal, right? So, yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do. Anything else? In case you are watching this, I'll say, you know, when you get the notification that this gets published, which hopefully is the end of this week, if not sooner, we will have the Creo Family Trunk Show in through the end of this week and maybe a couple days into next week. I just have to double check when I have to ship that back. And then, of course, you can always find our up-to-date class calendar and knit along information on our website under classes and current events. And then you can, it's a little drop-down menu, you can click on one of the options. And one of those options is a brand new, for lack of a better word, knit along / event that we're hosting.
Yes.
So hopefully you've seen the Instagram announcement and the newsletter about it, but we are hosting the first annual Skein Games here at the shop. So y'all know I do love CrossFit. I do. I participate in the Open every year. Not that I am any good, but I still participate. I love it.
She's good.
It's fun. And of course, you know, every 2 to 4 years, depending on which one you watch, you have the Olympics. Every year you've got the CrossFit Games. You've got, what are the other? I mean, you've got Super Bowl. I don't watch Super Bowl. That's just me. I'm not into football. But I do love a good World Cup or Euro Cup, which, yay for Italy on winning the Euro Cup. But we need something like that for the knitting world, I think, and the crafting world in general. So we've come up with the Skein Games. And so there are different events that you can register as an athlete in the Skein Games. So to register, you do have to let us know. We have to add you to the roster, and we'll confirm with you. You know, so send us an email. You could do a comment on here because we do check that. Do a comment, or you can send us a DM. You can give us a phone call, text, etc., and we will add you to the roster of athletes. And then when the dates start, which I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head, I think
July 23rd through August 8th. 7th.
Yes. So we'll have an opening ceremony live on Instagram. And we'll also have a closing ceremony live on Instagram and in store. So if you're local, come and be a spectator for the opening and closing games or events. And then if you are potentially, well, if you're an athlete, you can participate, you know, like right then at the starting when we say let the games begin. And yes, we're going to do like full on pomp and circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
Because why not? So yeah, you're going to want to tune in. You're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be hysterical and hopefully no major mishaps, but you know, there will be a flame involved. Let's just say that. So,
not a big flame. Don't be too concerned.
No. I'm not running in here with a blowtorch.
Yeah, we're not doing full torch run, but
you know, we gotta have.
You gotta get into it.
Yes. So there's lots of different ways you can participate. So you can see all the different events that you can participate. You can participate in one or as many as you want. Some of them will kind of overlap, so you could earn points, you know, do one project and it may earn you points in a couple different events.
Yep.
So just read through. You don't have to like tell us what event particularly that you're doing. It's just like, okay, but we do need to know by the end what events, and we need photo proof, if you will, on our system, obviously, but still we need photo proof to help tally up your score. Yes. Because we are going to have winners. If you are registered by the 15th, so you still have 2 more days to register as an athlete, you're going to be guaranteed a participation sticker. If you register after that, we may or may not have enough stickers to go around, so just kind of first come, first serve. You can definitely still register up until the day of. But then we do need, you have to register by the day of to participate. And then we will announce winners at the closing games or the closing event. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So just off the top of my head, some of the events, there's going to be a half marathon. So it's using a certain amount of yarn, which is 1,300 yards. Meters. I can't remember what we said.
I think we said yards.
I think yards.
Yeah.
In a single project, which, for most people, that's going to be a sweater, maybe a baby blanket.
Yeah.
So it's totally doable in the 2-week time frame, right? 2 weeks, something like that.
Just about
12 days, I think, technically. Yeah. Then there's a 5K, and then there's the
sweater
event, yes, which you could potentially do double points from the half marathon and the sweater event combined and earn some double points. There are points for just some little things. So like there's a One Skein project one. I think that's the 5K. You can earn points for that. There's points for taking picture of you in workout gear and either like outside, or if you knit while you walk, you can take a picture of that, or if you take your knitting to the gym, anything like that. Super fun. Now, don't kill yourself trying to knit and on a treadmill or something terrible. Do it safely and no injuries during the Skein Games, please.
We don't want injuries.
I am not going to attempt knitting and CrossFit at the same time. I may do it at the gym, but not at the same time. What else? We have the brioche burpee event, because everyone hates burpees, and a lot of people hate brioche, but it's going to be a fun little brioche project. So there's all sorts of different events, different ways you can earn points, even if you don't feel like you're a super accomplished knitter or crocheter, because it's open for crochet as well. Then there's still ways you can earn points and participate for sure.
A lot of these events, like we have one that's a finish a languishing whip.
Yes.
If you're someone that's got 6 whips stashed in the closet in hibernation or hospice, as one might say, you can pull all of those out and do the same event multiple times and get points multiple times for the same event.
Yes.
If that's your jam.
Absolutely. And I know someone will ask this question. You do not have to have purchased your yarn from us for that project for it to count. This is open to just anyone participating. The only thing you have to do to be eligible to get your sticker and or win the prizes is register. Yep. If we don't have you on the athlete list, you can't win a prize. And yes, we're going to have medals.
Oh yeah.
Because we're literally going headfirst into this thing.
It's fun.
It's so fun. So we hope you will tune in and watch the Skein Games. We will have live broadcast announcements brought to you by our official sponsors, because yes, we're going that far. We have an official sponsor for the 2021 Skein Games. I feel like I need to get my announcer hat on.
Yeah.
Welcome to. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Do hope that you will participate with us. It's just, I can't say that it's going to be super fun enough, because it is going to be super fun.
Is it going to be super fun?
Yes, it's going to be super fun. And all athlete levels are welcome.
Yes.
So definitely participate, even if you're a brand new knitter. There's something you can do, for sure. Or crocheter, brand new crocheter. Definitely. The only thing that I don't know how you would do in crochet would be brioche, but you can cable in crochet, all sorts of other things. So, and there's the event, I forget what we called it, on learning a new technique. Yeah. So maybe you learn to crochet for the first time.
Fiber freestyle.
Yes, fiber freestyle. So maybe you learn to crochet, or maybe you learn brioche, or maybe you learn color work, whatever.
Anything.
Anything. So I think that is it for announcements. Like I said, double check the website. It has all of those things. If you're not getting our newsletter, you can sign up for the newsletter on the website, or you can always send us an email as well, and we can manually add you to the list. However, I will tell you, our email list, because of all the spam laws that are in effect, would much prefer that you sign up for the email list via our website. You have a greater chance of the emails not going to spam and not being marked as spam if you do that. Also, if all of a sudden you are not getting our emails, what has happened is either your inbox, because if you have like one of the Google Smart mailboxes or an Apple Smart mailbox, they'll sometimes automatically mark certain mass list, which is our newsletter, emails as spam if they feel that you are not reading them enough, which is weird, but that's technology for you. So what you have to do, I cannot do it by law. I cannot add you back onto the list because then they say I'm spamming. So what you have to do is find a previous email and then click on Manager Preferences and basically re-allow them into your mailbox and double check that you're not marking them as spam. So It's a pain because it seems like anytime I unsubscribe from an email that I genuinely don't want, I still get it. It's just how it works. It's annoying, but it is what it is. So, unless, Becky, you have something else to add.
I think that's all I got.
I think so. So, thanks for tuning in to a little bit shorter episode. I think in 2 weeks, I think we should have some more finished objects for you. Hopefully no new cast-ons, but there's no guarantee.
I make no promises.
Because, we have very little self-control when it comes to that. So,
it's true.
Thanks again, and remember, if you do like this, please hit the thumbs up, and hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you are, you can always hit the bell for notifications to be notified when we post our next episode, which would be episode 83. Thanks so much, and have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bye.